Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR. Today, it's Thursday morning, March 31st, 2022. The man they call Meathead and Matthew Thomas. Matthew, today is a day. It is Thursday, March 31st, the day before Buckle Banter, the day before Shenanigans, the day before April Fool's Day, the day of us arriving in Big D. Good morning, Matthew.
Excuse me just a minute, Meathead. Will you let me? I'm trying to leave my unattended baggage with a stranger over here. I'm back with you. Hey, how's it going?
It's going okay. Did you leave him a note that says, please hug and kiss me no matter how much I resist?
You know what? People, no matter what the airlines or airports would have you believe, man, if you find a good, trustworthy guy at the airport that just asks you to hold a package.
Scam.
Yeah. You know what? I trust people.
You know, it's funny. I didn't do any research on what the rules are at the airport. I just use common sense. Have you heard of common sense, Matthew?
Oh yeah. I was really a fan of their earlier work, man. Their modern stuff, not as big of a fan of, but hopefully they're coming to a city near you.
Well, common sense told me to bring a water bottle, but don't put any water in it and just put it on the outside of my gym bag and let them see that there's nothing in it. Common sense also is going to tell me not to buy a huge soda right before the security check-in. So common sense has been paying off for me in spades.
Yeah, well, you're very wise that you don't travel with fluids there. So yeah, dude, I tell you, man, I don't know if you're considering a change of a career or not, but you'd probably have a good future as a TSA agent.
No, I dumped my fluids earlier. Boy, was that embarrassing. Matthew Thomas, I want you to talk to us about what the sponsor is today.
Hey, well, if you want to get a really quick trip through the airport and guarantee that you do not get pulled into that little special TSA room, all you got to do is wear your collar and elbow brand gear.com, and it's not too late. Collarandelbowbrand.com, enter promo code Linda K. That extra money that you save, that 10% off that you save from Linda's code, you can actually use that to maybe pay for expedited shipping to get the stuff sent to you in time for WrestleMania. If not your home, get it sent to the hotel or the flop house, wherever you're staying at. Get your collar and elbow brand gear sent there immediately. Yeah.
Flop house? What's a flop house?
It's kind of like one of those little things that you got a few mattresses on the floor and multiple people stay there. It's kind of like they kind of predated hostels. It's kind of like a hostel with not really much privacy.
Don't get all aggressive with me and hostile with me. But you know what? Now that we're in Big D, I need to find the best little whorehouse in Texas. I wonder if Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds are still up on the wall.
Well, Burt Reynolds deceased, so it's probably not going to happen. You might see Dolly out there. I'm not sure.
Hello, Dolly.
Yes, indeed. A lot of sightseeing to be done here in these upcoming days.
Well, Matthew, because we're recording from the airport, we are live literally from General Mitchell International. And where are you live from?
DIA, Denver International Airport. And if you've got time, I can actually try to make my way over to the creepy mural and broadcast live from the creepy mural, or I can see if I can find the cornerstone from the Denver Airport or the World Airport Commission the New World Airport Commission. That's not a real thing, that has very strange hieroglyphics and symbols on it. There's a lot of strange stuff going on at the Denver International Airport, Meathead.
So here's a story that our listeners and you and probably not a lot of the people that we talk to actually know. Back in the day, way back before 9/11, back in 1991, I worked in General Mitchell International Airport. I worked for a year and a half at the airport.
My goodness, they say that things have changed a lot with airports, and I think that's your proof right there.
So there was still security back in the 90s, folks, but they let a man they call Meathead, who actually was a man, they let a man they call Meathead actually get in and out of doors and buildings and secure areas in the airport that they would never let me into these days. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, probably part of your job description was to help people light their cigarettes at the time, because that's probably still going on in 91, right?
Well, Milwaukee is one of the very few airports. I'm pretty sure Vegas, I've never been to, but Milwaukee, you can still drink in the concourse.
Yes. There was another place I saw, man. Where was it? It was somewhere that I connected in maybe when I was going to Milwaukee. Was I
so,
read over somewhere?
I think that was the Blizzard Brawl story.
Yeah, I've seen it somewhere else as well too. But yeah, no, that's definitely a rare occurrence.
Do you want to know how long it's been since I worked there, Matthew? I can clearly recall working at the airport, going, "Boy, I'm going to go check out that new movie called Wayne's World." That's how long ago I worked. So I believe it was 91, maybe 92.
My goodness, you probably got to see Kirby Puckett extend the series to a game 6 or
I did actually. While cleaning one of the bars, I watched Lavin and Frank Viola. I watched extra innings, and they asked what the hell was taking me so long as I watched the 1-0 Game 7.
Oh my goodness.
So let me tell you this: as far as security, so I used to have to carry barrels. I helped stock the bars. I just got the old wink, wink, and go around to the side from TSA. I literally never went through TSA. I'd push a garbage cart. No, I'd never have to go through.
We'll see. We'll see if you get the wink, wink, and nod from TSA today.
Yeah, there's no more wink, wink, and nod. It was literally tape scanner.
Yeah, if you don't get that, you'll probably get to turn your head and cough.
Well, maybe I'll ask them to give me the turn of my head and cough. We're way off topic here. We are way off topic. Maybe we're talking about things that we want TSA to do to us, but I mean, those people are working people too. So let's move on. Let's talk a little bit of wrestling. We had AEW last night. Dynamite was on the air. First off, Tony Khan earlier in the day had promised a debuting superstar who would debut in the Owen Hart tournament and said that she would be part of the tournament. Were you surprised to see Toni Storm?
There was speculation that was who it was going to be. Not overly surprised, but happy to see Toni Storm premiere last night.
She looked real good. Now, it happened with Ruby Soho. It happened with a bunch of other talents. Remember the Bianca and Sasha face-to-face in the ring when they were main eventing WrestleMania for night 1 or 2? I forget. I think it was night 1. I don't remember. It might have been night 2. But I get it. It's emotional. Stop crying. Get in there and wrestle.
So here's what I liked about the presentation of Toni Storm last night. AEW, and sometimes it's people I don't know, and I need a little more backstory. But AEW does expect a little bit of a prerequisite wrestling knowledge from the fans. The name of Toni Storm, the mention of Toni Storm.
The crowd pops.
Compare this to the presentation of Toni Storm when she was on the main roster of WWE. It went something like this. Toni Storm's parents were huge fans of hair metal bands. This is Toni Storm. So I like the fact that Toni Storm is able to come out and wrestle as a wrestler.
Worked out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And without AEW, I was going to say, without AEW saying anything, AEW allowed you to know who Toni Storm was before they had said a single word.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And just little things. I like the fact that it wasn't a huge, long, drawn-out thing like we're going to get on Saturday before Seth's opponent is announced. We got, the bunny was in the ring, and then boom, the music hits, and that crowd popped.
They popped huge. All right, let's run down Dynamite from last night before we get off. Leaving on a jet airplane here, kind of like who sang that song?
John Denver.
John Denver?
Yeah.
Is that John Denver?
No, that's exactly who it was. Was John Denver?
High Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah, that's him. You're singing all the hits that you are most likely going to be singing through your bullhorn at Shenanigans on Friday night.
Take me home to the place I belong. I don't like Virginia. Wait, is that how the song goes?
No, so it's a very debated line. It's West Virginia, okay? But if you look at the geography, that John Denver's singing about in the rest of the song, he's referring to the western part of the state of Virginia, not West Virginia, the state.
Right. Yeah, the Mountaineers. No, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All right, continuing on. We've already done 3 John Denver songs, I believe.
Come for shenanigans, stay for Meathead's John Denver set Friday night.
while singing into a bullhorn on a mechanical bull. And again, the over-under is 10 minutes before it's shoved down my throat.
Oh, my goodness. You have got to be there, if nothing else, to see this spectacle.
Wait, I forgot to mention this. Have we confirmed that I'm the opening act for Jeff Hardy?
I think there's been a lot of talk of that. Yeah.
Shenanigansparty.com. How come my picture's not on the website?
So in other words, you're like quintessentially the fluffer for his set.
No. Let's start about Dynamite last night. It opened right away with CM Punk and Max Caster, obviously with Will Smith and Chris Rock joking his little rap. CM Punk talking about a lot of gray hairs on his face, and before he's done, he's going to do this. A lot of gray hairs on his face, and he's going to do this. And CM Punk plans on being the AEW World Heavyweight Champion before he's done.
Hey, you know what? I'm ready to see Punk involved in that world title picture. I'm ready to see Punk go up against Hangman. And my goodness, when it comes down to that match, and when it comes down to what decision they've got to jot down with the pencil, man, I don't know which way that's going to
go. Let's talk about Bryan Danielson. And he wrestled an amazing match, and now for some reason my notes have failed me. Bryan Danielson was wrestling in a match against Matthew.
Yeah, I saw that match.
Not Matthew. Matthew.
No. Oh my goodness. You know what? It looks like we're both having a note failing moment, but it was an outstanding match, and Regal was on commentary. And he really.
No, you know what? I goofed it up. It was Moxley and Jay Lethal.
Wait. No. But the name you were looking for was Wheeler Yuta, right?
Yes, he wrestled Wheeler Yuta. Yes.
Yeah. See, you just had to massage the information out of my brain.
Gross. All right, let's talk about Danielson and Yuta. Is Yuta going to join the Blackpool Fight Club?
That's really what they're teasing. You know, that's what you would lead to think, that based on, you know, the interaction and based on Regal's commentary last night. And they've talked about it, but they've yet to really, you know, throw another member in that stable.
I get a really huge kick out of when he addresses Excalibur. Yes, sir, Mr. Man in the Mask.
Yeah, I like that.
I get a huge pop out of it. Also, Jon Moxley, the former AEW champion, taking on the former Ring of Honor champion Jay Lethal. They tried the shake at the beginning. Moxley smacked it out of his face, or smacked it out of his way, but then Moxley shook hands at the end.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't and this was an interesting match. I mean, these are two very pronounced wrestling talents there, based on the booking they've done thus far and how Lethal has been booked. You thought Moxley was probably going to pick up the win, which he did. But no, we saw frustration there at the end from Jay Lethal, and he seemed a little bit reluctant to shake Moxley's hand. I want Lethal featured more in AEW. I want him to have a little bit more of a decisive lane or some type of story, because there was the shock of the premiere, and I don't really feel like we've gotten Lethal, you know, featured in in the forefront in any capacity in this AEW run.
It's on its way, honestly. I really do think it's on its way. Let's also talk about FTR and tag team action. FTR featured on TV 3 times last night.
Yeah, and although FTR was featured with the Pinnacle, very, very firmly, you know, they are not approving of what MJF is doing. The stuff they did when they put their hands in for the huddle, man, they were very reluctant. So
limp wrist on the hand move.
We are in the midst of a very obvious FTR face turn, and I like it. I think that's the side of FTR. I mean, going back to WWE, we really did not see. So I think there is, and of course, man, they were in Carolina last night, so there's a big hometown response from them. But I like the story they're telling with FTR, and they've got that matchup on Friday that people will not see, unfortunately, because they'll be at Shenanigans. But if they're able to take those ROH World titles, I mean, I think you are potentially looking at a storyline where FTR could potentially, you know, hold 3 different tag titles, and I think that's huge. FTR really getting some of that AEW spotlight, unlike they've gotten, and more significantly, they've gotten before.
Yeah, they got that big fight at Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, with them boys. Reach for the sky, boy. Taking on the Briscoes. Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society, the sports entertainers, I don't like the gimmick of look behind the curtain, but thank God it kind of ended, because here's what happened. There was Santana and Ortiz right there to start firing back, along with their boy Eddie Kingston.
Man, I got to say, Santana, Ortiz, Kingston, that works. That is a stable
LAX.
That really looks well. Yeah, that really works well together, that belongs together. And more so than I feel like, you're featuring them much more prominently than Santana and Ortiz ever were in the Inner Circle. They were a nice addition to the Inner Circle, but it was, I think they're really getting a chance to kind of come out on their own now.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that FTR were featured 3 times last night. Hey, Thunder Rosa came out to talk to Tony Schiavone, and as I'm watching with a fan that hadn't watched WWE in a while, or hadn't watched really any AEW, and I'm spotting out, hey, you'll recognize that person. And then it said, hold on, somebody else should be coming out soon, but excuse me. No, I said excuse me. Excuse me. What? Nyla Rose's little promo that she had there was pretty vicious.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we've seen it before. Nyla Rose kind of being that, after her title run, that first kind of boss you got to get through. And I think that's what's happening now with this Thunder Rosa feud.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, she's got a big King Koopa at the end as well. So the title appreciation, the Undisputed Elite, is that what they're being called now? The Undisputed Elite?
I think so.
Yeah. Adam Cole, baby, has the world title. Red Dragon have the tag team titles. I thought it was a very, very nice little touch with the white tape and their names written on the belts.
I like that. I enjoyed the in-ring segment. It was kind of silly, which I think this thing needed. I'm glad it didn't go on any longer than it does. One wrestling trope that I do not enjoy when it's done, and even if it's not done a ton, is the "I've stolen the title" deal. I don't like it. I've never liked it any time that I've seen it. It did bring out Hangman with his Tesla with the horns on the hood, so we hadn't seen that in a while. But you know what? I think this is where they're going to, man. I hope we see him driving that anytime they're in a locale that's driving distance from Aaron's Creek, Virginia. So I actually did the Google Maps. Aaron's Creek, not too far from my original hometown. And you can drive from Aaron's Creek to Columbia, South Carolina in 4 hours and 19 minutes. So it's a doable drive.
At what speed?
That's a Google Maps is estimating an average speed, so like posted speed limits.
There we go. Okay. That's all I kept thinking of when I saw the bull horns on front of the car. So I kept thinking of JBL.
Yeah, and he isn't a Tesla, so I think in Teslas you just like jump in and you're like, hey, take me to Spartanburg, and you just sit back and like listen to PWR today.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the main event, Matthew. It was Darby and it was Andrade.
You knew this was going to be a stiff match. You knew these guys were going to bump hard, and sure enough, they did. And we saw Andrade picking up a much-needed win. I was really hoping that was the direction this was going to go. Andrade, I kind of group in kind of that same group with Jay Lethal right now, somebody who needs some decisive victories, and we saw him pick up 1 to close Dynamite last night.
And then the show closed out with the guy we opened up with, who I'll be opening up for, apparently. Matt Hardy.
Absolutely. And I think they might actually be telling you a little tale, because they're saying he's going to wrestle Friday night, and everybody knows that he is going to be at Shenanigans. So AEW kind of might be fibbing on when you're going to actually get to see him wrestle.
No, Jeff Hardy will be playing an acoustic set this Friday night at Shenanigans. Tomorrow night, April Fools, it's no joke. Jeff Hardy doing an acoustic set. We also got Kevin Nash, Eric Bischoff, Jeff Jarrett, Conrad Thompson. We've got Mr. Ken Anderson. We've got X-Pac, Kevin Nash, Braun Strowman, now known as Adam Shearer, EC3. Man, they call Meathead, Matthew Thomas, Linda Kay.
Don't forget Clothier Extraordinary Al Snow.
Yeah, that's right. I love those jackets he used to wear on Gut Check. Remember the jackets that he wore in TNA on Gut Check?
Yeah, I mean, it is, the talent is just going to be just oozing out of Gillies tomorrow night.
Well, again, we don't want any more oozing or any more anything, Gilly, doing any of that. So, Matthew Thomas, we're going to call it here, live from Mitchell International Airport and live from Denver Coliseum or wherever the hell you are. What's it?
Yeah, the Denver Coliseum is by the Alpo factory right now, mind you. I'm in
Alpo
Denver I'm in Denver International Airport, straight off of Pena Boulevard.
So let me ask you this: if we're both arriving at the same time, are we going to have to see who gets there first, who gets the runway, and then you just kind of hold in the air?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Although you are beating me in by like 2 or 3 hours, so
I never know. We'll have to see. So, all right, for Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, we are going to be live the next time we talk to you live in Dallas, Texas. So long, everyone.